Alright, I'm back, and today we're going to do another rant of the week. And this time, it took me a little while to put this one together. I've been thinking on this a long time. I've been talking to a lot of people, and some agree with me, some disagree with me, and so on and so forth. And what I'm going to do today is talk about third-party companies. And this is my message to them. Because it's apparent that a lot of them are dropping what they've been working on and what they've been doing for so long, and they're just dropping it and going into the masterpiece market. And that's great for some of them, because some of them can pull it off. Some of them I don't think can. Some of them we know can't. And some of them are still too young to really say either way, like Bad Cube. It's like, yeah, their figures were good, not perfect. They need a little work. They could get there as long as they focus and work on it. But a lot of people are saying, well, there's just not enough market in the classics. This is where I disagree. I do think that there is plenty of figures still to make in the classics lines. And I'm going to go through what I think. First, I'm going to go through what I feel like some companies excel at and shouldn't leave and should continue doing, and examples of what they should be doing. And these are all my opinions. They're not general consensus. This is just my thoughts on the matter, and I want an open discussion. So if anybody wants to discuss this in the comments below, have at it. Because I want to hear what everyone else's opinions are, because I've heard what a lot of people's opinions are. But I want to hear what as many people as I can. Anyway, so these are just my thoughts of what certain companies should be doing, and then I'm going to end it with a list of figures that I think still need to be made in certain sizes, because essentially what we've got going on right now is 3 different scales. We've got the classic scale, which is scales very well with the current Legends class figures and the current Deluxe figures, and so on and so forth. Then we have the larger classics figures, and I'm talking like the iGear Seekers, the Orions, the Hegemons, stuff like that. Regular classics, you could fit somebody like him in there as your Megatron, or you could go with the classics Megatron. If you want to go to larger classics, you have to bump up to Hegemon, and then there's the masterpiece, obviously, and some of them, some figures can kind of bleed into different sections. For example, Hexatron here, he's a little small to be in masterpiece, in my opinion. That's my opinion. He scales very well with masterpiece if you think he should be about the same size as Leaderbots and stuff like that. I think he fits best with the larger classics, where he still can be bigger. But at the same time, although I think he's too big for my smaller classic scale, which I'm building, he can kind of be shoehorned in as a little too big. If somebody were to scale him down and actually do a really good job on it, then perhaps I'd consider buying it. I'm looking at you, Mastermind Creations. Scale him down, and I'll be happy, and I'll sell this guy. Anyway, let's see, where's my list? So, I've got some things I've wrote down over the last few weeks thinking about it. And by all means, this isn't every single company out there, and this isn't every single possibility figure out there. These are just some thoughts that I came up with. DX9. They're doing a really good job from what I hear, with like their more masterpiece-y figures like the Mirage and Retgar, stuff like that. Some people like it, some people don't. They might still be a little too new and might need to focus on that a little bit more. But one thing in particular that I want to talk about is their Worn Pocket line that they're doing. And so far they've got like Ratchet and Cyclonus and Scourge and Ironhide. And a lot of people are collecting those. They like them. They're about this scale from what I've seen. So what I would like to see from them in that same size is the Throttlebots. I think that's a niche that hasn't quite been itched properly. I know Toy World's doing Throttlebots, but those only really work with the larger classics to Masterpiece. They don't work with the smaller classics. So there's an entire line of Autobots that hasn't been made. And this would be a great opportunity for them to expand that line, because not only would the people that are buying the Worn Pocket line to scale with the Legends figures, but they would also the classics figures, and maybe even the larger classics guys would be buying the Throttlebots because they're Throttlebots. Everybody likes Throttlebots. Not really. That's a total lie. But everybody would buy them if they're at a good price and in a good size. Toy World's Throttlebots are, they're too big, and some of them are kind of a departure of the looks, which is unfortunate. Fans Toys, just continue what you're doing. Don't change. I do see a lot of other projects that they're working on now, coming out of the pipeline. They've got a Masterpiece Perceptor, Reflector, and Insecticons coming, and those look amazing. Although I would like them to focus that energy to finish the Dinobots. And that's one thing I want to focus a lot on, is these companies need to focus on what they're working on rather than just what they want to work on. You start a line, and like the Throttlebots. I mean, they started 2.5 years ago, something like that. And Grindrod's gone. So if anybody's now is like, oh hey, look, that set does look good, you'll never find Grindrod for a good price, unless they reissue it. Which means they'll reissue it at a higher cost, and then all these scalpers on eBay are going to get tons of money until then. So it sucks that it took them so long to get it done that now their figures are just gone. KFC. Now here's a company that I've given a lot of hate over the last year or so, and I think they've really stepped up their game a lot. The Tempest figure, while he's not perfect, is awesome. I really enjoy him. I'm very happy I have him. I don't regret getting him at all for a minute. I think he's a great figure. I know he's got his issues, but most third-party companies' figures have issues. I'm just happy that they've excelled from where they were with the cassettes, super delays, and shoddy figures. So I'm very happy with that. And I hear the Shark Bots are pretty stellar. I don't have any, and I have no need for them, so I'm not going to waste my money on them. But I hear they're pretty good. And I hear their MP Blaster is amazing. While not perfect, is really good. So this is a company that's kind of branching into the MP line, and I think they should continue. I would like to see them grow as a company in that line. But I also would like them to continue with their Chug and Thug figures. As someone explained, Retro Robot Radio explained to me, that Chug and Thug means, it's the classics lingo, classics, 10K universe, generations, and Thug means Target Master. So basically there's a Target Master figures. I would like to see them continue that line. Now, well, I don't necessarily think they should jump right into other figures that we already have, but there are other target masters that we don't have. You know, do us a Slug Slinger next, you know, something like that, and then do another character that we already have, because I would love to see them do their take on a Hot Rod figure, or a new Cup, as long as I don't go overboard with the transformations. I would love to see a new Cup, because that's one of the things I don't necessarily like about the Generations Cup, is I think he's a little too complicated. He's not that fun. And then, you know, a new Scourge. I would love to have a new Scourge to sit in front of my sweeps, so that there's a different mold in there, not just different colors. So that's one thing I think they should do. Continue the Masterpiece and continue that. Don't make any more Mugen scopes. Don't do that. That's kind of like the running joke for everybody. You know, when they announce that they're doing a reflector in the Masterpiece scale, you know, some people got really excited, and then other people were like, oh, it's probably just going to be the Mugen scopes. And I can't blame them. I mean, they use that mold too many times. But, I mean, I'm tempted on buying one, because I don't like the Generations Perceptor. So I'll probably pick one up at some point. I know they're on clearance, but yeah, don't do any more of those. But I would like to see you continue the Target Masters and the Masterpiece line. Like I said, I want to see you grow as a company. Make toys, and I'm going to kind of cram Fans Project into this because they're kind of the same. You know, I know they're like sister companies. So Make Toys is jumping into the Masterpiece line too, and I don't think that that's going to work. They have such a unique style to them, and the only way Masterpieces are going to work is if you make them look like the G1 cartoon and toy. Make Toys excels at making them look similar to them, but not quite. You know, to put their own spin on them. And it's kind of like their calling card, them and Fans Project. And I enjoy that. I know a lot of people enjoy that. So by switching over to that, they're taking their own personal flair out of the figure. And if they put their flair into the Masterpiece figure, then they're just stupid. Because Masterpiece, nobody will buy a Masterpiece figure that doesn't look like him, like the G1 cartoon, because that's the whole point. So I don't think that they're... Well, I think their engineering is on the level. I don't think that as a company that they should take that risk. They have other projects that they're working on, and I think they should focus on those more. Again, we go back into the companies need to focus as opposed to jumbling around and making whatever they can. I know as a person that's in business myself, that you can't always do the same thing over and over again. You eventually want to do something more fun and different, and I get that. But at the same time, if you start something, you should finish it. And primarily, what I'm talking about with Make Toys is the City Bots. They did Utopia. They're working on the Scorponok. I personally would love it if they focused that Masterpiece energy on these City Bots and finish those up, because I know a lot of people are like just amazed with Utopia, and I gave them shit about that months ago, and I have to say I apologize, because I don't have the Utopia yet, but I'm very excited for it. I got the Computron. He's kind of laying down right now because his knees aren't the strongest. But that alone makes me super excited for Utopia. From what other people have said, very critical people that I know have said Utopia is really good. So I'm very excited about getting him, and I really hope that they can finish this line. I hope they don't jumble too far around and then lose a bunch of money and then they can't finish a project. They also can continue, and this goes for Fans Project too, because they're in this same kind of market, is the Combiners. And I know there's a lot of war going on with combiners. We got so many different combiners going on everywhere, and there's combiner fatigue, and there's you know, Hasbro is jumping into the market too. But from Make Toys and Fans Project, you know, again, you know, I was proven wrong when I said, you know, nobody's going to want the Utopia figure because the Hasbro Metroplex is out. Well, there's Hasbro Metroplex out, and everybody liked Utopia, the ones that got him. And people like me are now going into getting him. So I think one thing that will happen is that, yes, you know, Hasbro might make these figures, but I think if Make Toys still makes them, there's enough fan base to continue buying them and get other people pumped to get them. Because at the end of the day, you know, like, their giant figure looks great in combine mode. He looks great. Anyway, so with the combiners that are still needed, there's Abominus, Superion, the Seacons, Predaking, and Defensor in their style and in their scale. So that's 5 more figures, and we know they're working on 1, but that's 5 more combiners that, you know, I thought of off the top of my head that they can work on and make. And, you know, I would love that. And one thing I do really like about Make Toys is the fact that it's like, okay, here's the combiner. You know, $400, here's the whole set. Not, okay, you have to spend this much money here and there, here and there, here and there. So Fans Project should focus on everything else and let Make Toys focus on the city bots and combiners. Fans Projects in particular should focus a lot on finishing their headmasters, because as far as I'm concerned, they're making the best headmasters in the game right now. You know, they're Hasbro made it 1. You know, maybe they'll make more, maybe they won't, who knows. Toy World's making some, and those work great for the larger scaled figures. But quite frankly, Fans Project's headmasters just blow them out of the water. For example, this figure's really cool. I'm getting a huge kick out of messing with this guy, and I'm really trying my hardest to find the first 3 again, because, like I said, I think they make the best in the best in the field. So anyway, there we go. Planet X, continue what you're doing, because you've got your own little setup going. You know, nobody else is really is focusing that much on the War for Cybertron. They make really excellent products, and I would like to see them continue, and I would also like them to eventually do a Trypticon, War for Cybertron Trypticon. I would love that. Somebody's got to make a Trypticon. Mastermind Creations should just continue where they're going. You know, they're kind of breaching into the Masterpiece line, but they actually have the quality and the qualifications, in my book, to breach that barrier. But also when they do the reformatted line, you know, and they put their own little spin on it, it's just, everything they do is golden. The Predacons, I mean, yes, I mean, yeah, I traded my Predacons away. Yes, I know, a lot of people gave me a lot of shit for that. But for the combiners that I was going for, I think the Unique Toys fits better. Is it the better figure? No. You guys watch my hour-long video on, you know, which one was better, and Mastermind Creation is better. It has some issues, but it is better figure. I just missed the Unique Toys one, and I don't think I'll miss the Mastermind Creations one. I will probably be missing it in a few months, and everyone's going to say, I told you so, and deservedly so. Anyway, back to what I was just talking about. But Mastermind Creations does an excellent job with whatever they do, so they can just continue doing whatever they feel like doing, in my opinion. Alright, sorry about that. Camera running out of time. I do have a new camera coming, so hopefully we'll get my video quality a little up there. TFC. Okay, now here's a company that I gave them shit for a long time. Then I apologized for them, and now I don't own any of their stuff anymore because I traded it all away. Now they our company does what, in my opinion, an excellent job in their field, and that being the combiner field. They have their fan base that won't ever leave them. Most of them won't, anyway. Well, I think their Devastator was a home run. Their Aerial Bots was good, from what I hear. I'm trying to get a set now, but their Predaking was a failure, in my opinion. I know some people love it, but that's what I'm saying. They have their fan base. They need to stick with that. And then their Defensor looks amazing. I traded mine away before I could finish it, but I think he looks really, really good. And I think that'll put them back on the combiner map. And see, with combiners, I think there's essentially 3 different scales going to. There's the Make Toys scale, Make Toys Fans Project scale, and Hasbro Combiner War figures kind of fit in that. Then there's the TFC scale, which is a little bit bigger. And then there's the Warbotron scale. And Mastermind Creation fits better in the TFC scale, really, than the Warbotron. The Unique Toys Abominus might fit better in the Warbotron, and I think the Hasbro Devastator is going to fit pretty close in that. That Hasbro Devastators are Rant for a different day. I saw all the pictures of it. Anyway, but TFC needs to go back to the combiners. They're trying to jump in the Masterpiece, and I do not think this company is going to put out good products when it comes to the Masterpiece figures. I don't. They don't have it. They don't have that touch. I honestly don't think they do. They make an excellent combiner. They make excellent figures for their scale and the larger classic scales. They do an excellent job with that. A second to practically none. But they're not Masterpiece worthy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Some companies can pull it off. Like I said, Make Toys might be able to do it, but I would rather see them not. TFC, I don't see it. I don't see them having the quality or the design ability. It's not there. But anyway, the plus side is that they still have Bruticus, Minosaur, Abominus, Computron, and Seacons. So 5 more combiners that they can do in their scale, and their fans will buy them. And I don't see any reason why they shouldn't do it. I know there's a lot of combiner fatigue, but these companies need to stop thinking about combiner fatigue and just focus on what they're doing, and not focus on other companies. Yeah, I gave some companies some shit for it in the past for not looking at other companies, what they're doing, but Make Toys prove the point that it can still be done. Toy World, finished stuff, anything, please. They've got their Throttlebots that they're working on. They've got their Headmasters they're working on. They've got their leaders that they're working on. They teased an Ultra Magnus like a year and a half ago. What happened to him? They've got the Dinobots that they're working on. They just need to finish anything. Focus. Like I said, a lot of people lose interest if it's taking too long to complete a project. And I think the Throttlebots is going to be a huge case of that, because nobody's going to want to really jump into buying, the next 3 figures when in the end they can only get 5 out of the 6. And, why would you buy a combiner that you can't complete? There's just no purpose to that. Not many people will do that. So that's what I think Toy World should do. Unique Toys, they're branching into the Masterpiece line, and they just continue. There's a company that boosted way above what their original expectations were. They should just keep going. I would love to see them just upscale Mania King, maybe give him a little bit more posability and call it a masterpiece. Because I mean they're in that they're moving that way real quick, I think, and like their Astro Train looks great. Or is that DX9? Same company. And their Octane looks amazing. I don't collect Masterpiece, and I'm not a fan of Octane, but he looks amazing. Warbitron. Finish something. Like I said, I keep pounding this in. They need to focus on doing something. They've got the first part of their Computron out, and they finally just now, 13, 14 months later after they announced Bruticus, they just now got the fourth member out. I think if they would have not focused on that Computron and focused more on their Bruticus that they promised everybody would be out by third quarter or last year, I think they'd be doing a lot better, because then they would be done, and then they could focus all their energy on Computron. It's, splitting your mind and focusing on too many things at once, and then splitting your company to work on two different things at once. It doesn't work. Not in this game. You gotta finish what you start, and then start the next project, and get it out as quickly as you can, because that's a huge problem, because by the time when Mastermind Creations was the first one to announce that they're doing Predacons, and before their first figure was out, Unique Toys already had two or three figures out. Yeah, like 2 or 3 figures out, and TFC was out on their second figure. Mastermind Creations, by the time they got to their second figure, TFC was already out with one, and TFC just barely didn't beat Mastermind Creations. Unique Toys just blew them out of the water when it came to getting them out, and that's no fault to Mastermind Creations, because they stop and make products. But the problem is that by the time you announce something and release it, if you're putting so much time in between there's all these other companies that are going to pop up and say, hey, we can do this too, and we can do it faster. So that's what they need to worry about when they're sitting there doing this. Nobody else made another Bruticus. I'm amazed on that. I am shocked that we didn't get a Bruticus War. Although then again, we also had Fall of Cybertron Bruticus, the Boosticus set upgrade, and then the Microplays Creations upgrade set, along with the Fans Project Bruticus set. So we've had a lot of Brutici. So yeah, they need to focus. X-Transbots. You guys need to focus on quality control, because Ollie was a train wreck. And the pipes and Huffer were not much better. They were better, not by much. So you guys need to focus on stuff like that. You need to think about doing stuff and do it right. It doesn't matter how long it takes you. Mastermind Creations prove that point. But if you can get a quality figure out, that's why a lot of people are really hesitant on the MP Megatron that they're making, as opposed to, and some people are even throwing that idea out the window and going with just the leader class Megatron from Generations. And that's sad. If people are going to throw out a $150 Masterpiece figure in favor of a Hasbro $50 leader class toy. So, anyway. Alright, so let's talk about some figures that I thought of that really need either updates or figures. So what's needed? First off, the Classics Hot Rod. Because, as decent as this one is, we really need an update. This guy is not that great. I would love to see a Classics Hot Rod be made. And I guess I am looking at you, KFC, because I think you guys would make a great one with the Target Master. I think this guy really needs an update. And I know he just got a repaint of the Springer mold for Voyager class, but I would also like to see Voyager class or very large deluxe Rodimus Prime figure. That's not upgrade armor. That's just complete, total himself. Not anything else. Just Rodimus Prime. I would love that. We need a Deluxe Blitzwing. Why am I saying we need a Deluxe Blitzwing? Well, because the Hasbro Octane is deluxe. The Hasbro Astrotrain is a deluxe. The Hasbro Blitzwing is a Voyager. So for people that have a smaller scale like me, a deluxe class Blitzwing would be amazing. And then for those that have the bigger scale, a Voyager class Astrotrain and Octane. It seems like everybody was working on those, and then all of a sudden just jumped them right over to MPs. So we got 2 different MP-sized Astrotrains coming out, and an MP Octane, but no Voyager one that everyone originally talked about. That's what I think they should do. So there you go. A Deluxe Sandstorm. I like the Sandstorm, but I would prefer him to be smaller and a different sculpt. This one works well, but Springer is the only one for me that I want to have a Voyager of the triple changers at the end of the day, because he was kind of a commander, so it fits the bill, whereas the rest of them were just troopers. My opinion, not everyone's opinion. So for the Fans Project Burdick, which is an amazing figure. I mean, he just looks gorgeous. I got the first edition version the other day, and it's a world difference. The thing is just awesome looking. But anyway, what I think somebody can do, and this will make somebody a lot of money, and people have talked about it in the past but never followed through with it. And there's one company that's making the chest plate for it, but it's not due out till third quarter this year. So what's the hold up on that? It's a plate. Why is it taking so long to make? Anyway, but there's a lot of people that have smaller scale, that like the smaller scale, that have the Fans Project Bruticus and love the Fans Project Bruticus. And so they would make a lot of money without people worried about will they continue. But start off with a new Deluxe Brawl. Or not Deluxe, but Scout Class Brawl to fit with the Fans Project Bruticus. Just replace that limb. Then do Vortex. Replace that limb entirely. And make it work with the Fans Project upgrade kit. And then finally do a new Onslaught and maybe beef it up a little bit so that he kind of is a little bit taller. I think that would just make so much money. I would buy that in a heartbeat to go with this one. And then everybody's going to be trying to find the Fans Project Bruticus and find the Hasbro Bruticus to fill in until it's done. This next one, I'm looking at you, Dr. Wu, and I'm really shocked that you haven't done this, or Renderform, whatever. Heads and weapons for the Fans Project Bugs. I mean, you guys saw me work on the customization of those for a while, but honestly, I shouldn't have had to do that. People were screaming for new heads and weapons since day one. Why hasn't this been done? Yeah, there's some on Shapeways with different weapons, but seriously, what's wrong? Why did this take so long? just wow. I'm just shocked. And then the last one goes without saying. It wouldn't fit my scale very well, but I think it really needs to be done. And Fans Toys teased this years ago, and I don't think they're ever going to do it. But a Voyager Shockwave needs to happen. Classic style Shockwave, Voyager's class, absolutely has got to happen at some point. So anyway, there's my thoughts on what third-party companies should be doing and focusing on, and brief summary of some figures that I thought of or off the top of my head over the last couple weeks that need updates. Also, for the larger classics, I would love to see some bigger Seekers. Not quite as big as the iGear Seekers, but maybe a large deluxe small Voyager. Not quite that size because they're closer to more ultra class at that point. But anyway, so that's those are my thoughts. What are your guys' thoughts? Am I totally off base here, or do you guys think that this is what they should be doing?